Well, I appreciate your time. Welcome to Miracle Mindset Motivation. This is the last and final chapter and the run for empowerment. And all of us are feeling a little disempowered. Would that be correct to say? In this current season, there's a lot going on. And I find it so interesting that I was actually meant to do the embody chapter, because I speak about embodiment all the time. I'm a sound healer. I work with energies. I work with vibrations. And then last minute, it got switched around, and the beautiful Crystal, who probably will be joining us soon, she said that she'd come today. I've learned so much from her. I hope you girls have as well, about embodying my brand and becoming my brand. And I should have worn purple today, but I just wasn't thinking. But becoming my brand as an essence. And when that got switched around, I thought, oh, this is a bit weird. Why am I not speaking on embodiment? They've just pushed me into empowerment. I'm looking backwards now and going, oh, that's why. Yeah, that's why, because to be empowered is where it's at. And I have put some slides together for you. If you have any questions or interactions, we learn from each other. I don't sit here as a guru or a professional by any means. I'm just somebody that loves to study, and I can teach you what I've put into action. But I'd like to start with a couple of little quotes. And the first one that I have is, not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it's faced. And I was meditating on this morning thinking, yeah, it's been a really tough month for me. And I'm sure it's been a tough month for a lot of you as well. We're all being pressured universally to practice what we preach, to put into action things that we've committed to, regardless of what's going on around us. Would you say that's accurate for certain aspects of things that are happening in your life? And this is how we understand character. Character development says, okay, you're talking about manifestation, you're talking about can do, but if you're not doing the do, it's just talk. And so that's what I wanted to discuss today. And this is where I feel like this is kind of a gift to me, because I talk about mindset every day. You'll see on the first slide there, I've got new mindset, new results. And I'd like you to consider that just because you've operated in a way in the past doesn't mean that you have to stay there. There are aspects of us that should always be changing. Evolution happens out of the comfort zone, right? So this current season for me is confidently learning to set loving boundaries and not feel guilty about it. It's working on my own self-worth. And I think vibrationally, people are attracted to each other because often they're tracking the same thing in their own circumstances. So let's dive in. Any questions at this point, or any comments from you, beautiful girls? Are you tracking through those things as well?
Yeah, I as you know, I'm doing my Natural Way magazine, and part of that is the whole sustainable swap thing. So no cling wrap and, you know, all that kind of stuff. And so when I was packing Greg's lunch, he said, why are you putting my snacks in a pencil case? And I was like, well, if I'm talking about this and, you know, like I'm expressing my desire to change the world by, you know, reducing plastics and helping the environment and all that sort of thing, then I need to pack your snacks in pencil cases. And he went, okay, I get that.
Oh, I love that. The battle's real with our families, yeah. But and learning to not, it's great that he's agreed. Like, some of my family won't agree, so I just let them do them. But it's so true, because that's one of my model wings to my business as well. As you well know, Rachel, we've met each other on that excitement of both of us birthing a similar thing, actually. And that's where I feel very inspired watching what you're doing with your new magazine. And yeah, we do have to practice what we preach, or it's hot air, and people get attracted to the glossy image. I mean, Crystal's taken us through a whole month of presenting yourself as your brand. But if your energy is not matching the brand, then we need to reassess things. And a lot of that's the internal work. So we'll dive in, and thank you. Anyone else have anything to say on that? Okay. My first topic of conversation is learn to trust your intuition. Now, my intuition is very strong, but I often override it because I want to think the best of people. And I've realized just in the last month, a huge aha awakened moment, another layer to discovering who I really am at soul level, is that a lot of what I see in others is the projection of who I am. And so see how a projection works in reverse. When somebody's up to mischief, they project darkness onto you, or they'll project their victim mind stance onto you. But what I've realized this last month is that if I catch myself each time I feel myself saying yes, but then I feel like I shouldn't, I have to actually honor the soul that's speaking to me. If you have experienced this has been the hardest lesson for me in learning that my intuition isn't judgmental. Because my monkey mind comes on and says, I've got this feeling, but I don't want to think that because I'm trying to see the best in every scenario, in every person that I'm interacting with on my business professional level, on my personal relationships level. And so therefore I have these spiritual gifts, and intuition is your sixth sense. It is a spiritual gift. It is a psychic gift. It is a clair gift. It is a gift of energy reading. But if I'm overriding that, I'm not being empowered. I hope that hits home to you today, because I know this new season is going to teach us to either tune into the radio frequency of that beautiful spiritual gift, or it's like a muscle. If we don't flex it, we might lose it. Now, acceptance without resistance is key. Change only happens when you accept your current life now. So everything externally is happening as a projection of what I'm holding. And so therefore I can't be angry with anyone that's presenting something to me to rattle me or to force me into change or to push me in a new direction, because evolution of the soul requires a new direction. But what I can change is how I respond to the energy. And I hope that you can meditate on that. In your package, I have included some checklists, some worksheets, because I like to be a very practical coach. I think that people absorb things at their own pace. So that's why I am offering to record this so that you can re-listen to it, because energy is frequencies. Words are frequencies. Checklists work with your own processing ability, and I do run fast. I'm aware of this. So if anyone needs anything repeated, or you need something specifically spoken into at a separate level without the group, don't hesitate to contact me, because I truly believe we're there to empower each other. And that's where I think the era of the teacher and the guru is over. If you are tapped into intuition, which is your source energy, you will understand that I have to honor that over and above what I'm thinking, because the thinking links into the program. So how do we do this? We accept our current feelings. It feels really shitty when circumstances push us into change. That is change never feels comfortable. I always liken it with giving birth to a child. There's a lot of discomfort. Or if you're very practiced at mindfulness and meditation, you can give birth pain-free. I work with doulas as a coach that are teaching this to their clients, and I think, gosh, where were they when I gave birth? But it's all according to what we're holding. And so if I step into flow state, which is honoring the energies that are flowing through me, you may have heard me say before that every organ holds a different emotion. And so if I honor that energy or that emotional state within me, like I've been feeling frustrated lately, I've been feeling blocked. It's all external stuff. It's not me, but there was something blocked in me that was attracting that, and it was not listening to my intuition. And so instead of resisting the energy, I face the energy head on. Hey, welcome, Crystal. So until you feel into things honestly, you will not know what's possible to change because we've repressed it, and therefore we end up like a pressure cooker. Actually, have you ever met anyone that's not able to allow their emotional state to go, or they may have difficulties communicating, and then as it's bottled up, they might blow up because there's something in the fridge. But it's never about what's in the fridge. It's never about the road rage that's on the highway. It's always about the repression of what energies they've been holding. Has anyone else experienced that? Maybe you have a little testimonial.
My ex-husband.
Yeah, my husband too.
And he used to internalize everything. And then something would happen. It would all be my fault. And he would just explode.
Yeah.
But he would never take responsibility for his actions. It was always something that I did, which made it worse.
Yeah. Helen, did you have something to add to that? No, she's at the office. You're right. And so this is victim consciousness. We are currently being called to step out of victim consciousness. So if I've made the decision to rise higher and work in my higher state, my mindset, that's the frontal lobe is affected by addiction. So don't expect cognitive discussion with somebody that has their frontal lobe affected by addiction. Don't expect this type of higher consciousness discussion with somebody that's used to repressing energies because they haven't had this aha moment switch on yet. It doesn't mean that we don't love them. We hold space for their energies, but if we match their energies, you know, when somebody gets angry with you, they blow off like a pressure cooker because of repressed feelings. If we match that energy with anger, we have then dropped our consciousness level or our vibratory state to the same damn note. I hope that clicks. Because if you forget anything that we're talking about today, energy matches energy. Accept the things that you cannot change, but change them within yourself. So what in me is attracting that scenario that the universe is sending me? I have a wave that's matching in order to have this final aha moment, accept the patterns and birth out of it. Changing the things that you can and then release the rest to source. And the rest is just your destiny. So do you all think that you have asked in a soul agreement for certain interactions so that you could learn more about experiential things in three-dimensional reality? In Crystal's teachings, we were learning about the human design chart. And she's been bravely teaching me that I'm a number 51, which means my soul signed up to assert firm, loving boundaries. And what I'm shifting now that you might be able to relate to is that I can actually allow my voice to be heard without fear of rejection, without arguments, without bitterness, without anger, and without expecting things to stay the same. Because as I step into a higher state of consciousness, I'm called into flow state. So this little teaching today that I'm walking through might be something that empowers you to just say, hey, I'm so worthy of asserting my truth with firm, loving boundaries and accepting the destiny out of all of it. If somebody doesn't love me unconditionally, they're not doing the do. You can do all the inner work. You can talk about manifestation. You can talk about embodiment. But if you're not doing the do with the embodiment, then it hasn't hit yet. It hasn't become you. Talk's easy. The do is your character. The talk is the promise. If you change nothing will change. And so therefore the evolution of the soul requires change. And as we all know, change is uncomfortable. Is there anyone here that embraces change? I'm learning to embrace it. But change is uncomfortable, right? We want to have the same friends for all of our life. We want to stay in the old job, even though it's not feeling good anymore. You get this intuition that we started talking about, pushing you into your next level, into your up-leveling in the game of life. Resisting what you know and what you feel is disempowering the life lesson presented for you to learn. Embrace change. Is anyone here interested in committing to embracing change, no matter how painful that might be in the next couple of weeks? This is what I feel Spirit show me in Earth splitting. We've got 3D splitting away from 5D. 5D insists that we flow. I believe that the divine is going to show us things that are going to blow our mind, not just with supernatural giftings, but with things that we've never imagined before, wealth that we've never imagined before, but we have to release the old. Has anyone here ever done a house clearing? Or been prompted to throw things out of their wardrobe or out of their business stash? You know, when you're entering change, a lot of what you're kind of guided spiritually to get rid of the old stuff, because stuff holds energy, right? Everything vibrates with matter. And so if you are being prompted for that, listen, because in my 9 weeks course, as Rachel and some of the girls know that have done that course, I start the course with attachments. Spirit flow insists that we're not attached to anything in 3-dimensional reality. And so this is money, this is stuff, this is our house, this is even our friends and family. And that's really painful to lay that all down in order to say my soul is evolving. Remember that our spirits are on loan in 3-dimensional reality, and everything is a projection. It's a game. Yes, but now what? I hear you saying. Float on the water until you know where you are headed. My husband had a vision recently in his dream state that I was running on water. And I know that to run on water means that I have a fully activated spirit body, and that means that I have completely surrendered to the discomfort of releasing everything that isn't right for me. It vibrationally feels disconnected. It reacts when I shine my light into the area. It repels truths that I lay down lovingly, because the shadow is deep. We're all one at soul consciousness, but remember that every person we meet is a lesson by design. And so my next slide is to encourage you to surrender to grief, which is held within your lung capacity, which holds back your magnetic field from shining brightly. You see where the lungs sit behind the heart? All by design. Sometimes, I won't even say sometimes, always loss teaches us. So accept the feelings that rise up in that. So I've spent the last few weeks grieving the loss of what I thought was my current reality, and I'm using it to feel empowered. And the timing's insane, because I'll be honest with you, I have been stuck building this membership. It's been on my list, my manifestation list, for about 7 years now, and I've just been pushed gently. And I'm really grateful to all of you for pushing me. And I know that I've met all of you by design. It's awesome. Be open to the idea that all of your experience is for a reason, and that is for your spiritual growth. So we can talk about body, mind, and spirit, but most people, they kind of luck out when we start talking the ookie stuff, the spiritual stuff, because they don't. You can talk about money, manifestation, you can talk about all of these incredible things, but if you take the spiritual out of all of it, you're missing the whole point, because we're still identifying with the body, which is matter. And matter's beautiful as long as it's vibrating at spirit state. Any comments or any questions? Am I going too fast for you all? Carmen, I'd love you to, I can see that you are ticking over here. I know that you have some wisdom to drop in. Would you like to add anything?
I think we all have a different kind of wisdoms and we can all share. But definitely, look, I am the power of three, and the power of three is mind, body, spirit. So yeah, you're speaking my language, and definitely you cannot talk about one without the other, and
Yeah.
they, interconnect as much as you want to, like we have the athletes, and I used to be a professional athlete. So, it's just an example of the professional athletes, that build their muscles. They are, working at a higher performance and they excel. But if their mind is not, connected, if their motivation is not there, it's not going to work. They're just going to be a lump of big muscles. So it's, putting it all together that will will give you what you are searching for. And it is all internal, and it is your work that you need to do. Hence the power of three. It's not new. It's not new. And there's different skills, obviously, and there's different, I would say, I think we all work with and respond. I would say the correct wording would be respond. We all respond to different stimuli, right? So, some people work with crystals, some people work with, the divine, some people work with cards, whatever works for you, as long as you connect all three. I think that's my wisdom for today.
I love that. Thank you. And what Carmen's speaking about is conduits. So crystal is a conduit for the energy that you're throwing. A singing bowl is a conduit for the energy that you're throwing. My divination rods are a conduit. Crystal did a card reading for me last night. It was so accurate. They're conduits. So her intuition is using the tool. They're just tools to hear spirit loudly. And so we're allowing spirit to operate, not the mind, not the monkey mind, and not the old program or the old identity. I love that you brought up the athlete analogy. That's a really powerful one. I met some athletes at Canberra where they train them with technology, actually. And what they told me is that they actually deceive them using the computer screens for how fast they're going. So they'll slow it down on the screen so that their mind thinks that they're going slower and they exert more energy, effort, and this is how they get winners. I kind of felt a bit sick and sad about that, in that the mind needed to be deceived in order to excel. But I kind of get it in a practical level when we're talking about the body, mind, spirit. And body, mind, spirit does create a triangle, right? Look, and the triangle is the strongest. I don't know if you know this. This is what, those that know me know I'm fascinated by the pyramids of Egypt. But this is the strongest. And the pyramids of Egypt were said to be energy chambers, where if you go and hum in there, your spirit body will be activated. I can't wait to do that. That's so on my bucket list, and it will happen. But all this ancient technology has been hidden from us, and we've been taught that we are the mind or that we are the body. And I think you'll find that most people's attachments link into whichever they identify with. So if they consider themselves smart, they may identify with the mind. The ego identifies with the mind. But if they consider themselves beautiful and charismatic, they identify with the body state. But what happens when those two things that are operating in matter state let us down? All you have is your spirit, which directly links into your character. The surrender of expectation is everything to accept your own destiny and to elevate, activate. Surrendering's difficult though. Who's going through a journey of learning? We're in the school of life, and really the notches are notching up. Everything seems to be fast-tracked. Time's going faster, experiences are amplified, relationships are being pressured, we've got the dividing happening, actually. which is what I saw in the clouds one day. I saw the Grim Reaper riding a horse. It was shaped like a cloud, and Spirit said to me, we're in the season of the fields being reaped. So when we talk about fields, this is energy fields. So what used to deceive me before, because I was being all loving, all giving, without firm loving boundaries, is now being amplified, because as the light expands, so too does the darkness. So the atoms are splitting, the energy fields are splitting. So what are you experiencing in surrendering for yourself? Crystal, are you being pressured to surrender anything at the moment?
It's really an interesting.
Yes, I would say like the need to control things in my home, you know, that is something that I'm working on, you know, letting go of for sure.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah. I think
Thank you. Anyone else being challenged with surrendering something? And it doesn't have to be emotional even. It can be, I need to surrender my addiction to that bad diet so that I can elevate. I need to surrender my addiction to the telephone. It interrupts my magnetic field. I need to take time out for me. It's not selfish. I truly believe that every surrender, whilst it feels painful, leads us to a state of vibrational elevation. In fact, I've gotten to this ability to be able to channel so well is because Spirit asked me years ago to do a whole year without any media, no phone, no TV. I was an addict before that. And I just did it because I was called to do it. I've been called into the surrender of my addiction to food, called into, a lot of you know that I've done a 9-month sleep fast. And so I was shifting out energies of laziness there and procrastination, because procrastination's fear. And in fact, if you actually want to simplify these teachings, you've got love or you've got fear. And everything in between is a measure of that. So whatever your blockage is, it's fear actually, just repackage. Shame is fear. People pleasing is fear. Procrastination is fear. I can simplify it like that. It's actually makes things really easy for me in figuring out the patterns. And the patterns show us where we're sitting on the vibrational chart. So look for the patterns. When did you first observe this cycle? Because it will be a cycle, whatever you're being asked to pop down now or to lay a firm boundary with, rest assured, this isn't the same. This is exactly the same energy repackaged in a different person. And that's where we have to surrender the blame. It's not the person, it's the energy, right? So when did you first observe this? Can anyone recognize that what they're laying down or surrendering now has happened in their childhood? Yay, that's the goal. In fact, if your third eye is open, the Spirit will show you that everything is by design a pattern, golden fee ratio. And so don't ignore it. You have to ask yourself the why. Why is this happening to me? And that's not to blame another. That's to assess self and shift the blockage within. Why is this happening to me? Spirit said to me on many occasions, why not? And so in that short channel dialogue, I have to then go inward and say, what in me is attracting this? Why am I continually getting people that are not paying me? Or why am I continually getting people that let me down, or they fall in love with me and then they hate me for exactly the same reasons? What in me is allowing that? And then up my standards. And then we get to the how. How will I learn from circumstances this time? Because if I'm not changing things, I'm not evolving, I'm not growing, I'm not giving myself self-love, and I'm part of the problem instead of part of the solution. Can everyone relate to that?
Yeah.
Great. Well, that's my last slide. So now I would like to talk you through the worksheets. Were there any questions on that? And does it make sense when I'm speaking to you about operating from spirit instead of operating from body or mind, which is in fact linked into ego? Or is that a new concept for you?
No, because I've done your 9-week course. So yeah, I went through that whole ego, body, spirit, mind thing with you then.
And
So-
Rachel, I've just been clapping watching you explode with confidence and with the ability to speak on camera now, and you're creating a magazine, you're doing all these incredible things, and I know it's just the beginning for you. And I believe this is what my soul agreement is to just empower women to embody the essence of spirit and fly. So, and in that journey for me, it attracts a lot of jealousy, which has been a really difficult lesson. But if I am shining, it's just so that you can learn to do what I'm doing. And that's exactly what you're doing, Rachel. I'm really, really proud of you. I hope you know that.
After I did your 9 weeks, I did, I just leapt in and did the limiting belief work with Kat. And since I've done that, there's nothing. Like, I just do it. I don't even stop now and go, oh, I can't do that. You know, I woke up one morning and went, I should do a magazine. And not my brain would have gone, don't be stupid. Who are you to be, you know, doing stuff like that? Who wants to listen to you? What do you have to say that people would be interested in? But I didn't. And so it all started with the 9 weeks to a new you. And then that gave me the incentive to do Kat's course, or the start of Kat's course, because I'm doing her 6-month one. But that was the first 6 weeks of the limiting beliefs. And so I woke up and went, I'm going to do a magazine. And then I went, oh, I better sit down and write a content list then. And there was none of that at all. And so watching what you do and how you present yourself on Instagram and stuff like that has been amazing for me, because I've seen you do it. I've seen you improve. I've seen you grow and expand. And so I was like, Michelle can do it. I can do it. Do you know what I mean? So that's what we do. We turn around and we show the people coming behind that it's possible and that they can do it. And so that's an amazing thing. Amazing thing.
That's exactly right. I need to embellish this conversation slightly too. If you have a coach or a leader in your life or a mentor in any capacity, and there are many avenues that you could choose somebody to look up to, right, for inspiration. If that person is exerting control, manipulation, or discouraging you from working with another person, you must question the attachment in that, because an empowered coach would want the Rachels to go and do Kat's course and to layer up where she has left her. So it's my job as an activator to take you here, and then somebody else will take you here. Spirit showed me this a long time ago, and I can see that happening in your beautiful life, Rachel, and I'm super proud of you. It's amazing. And don't think that anybody doing this type of work doesn't still have the monkey chatter. Every morning I get up and I hear the old program. I just recognize it for what it is. It's my shadow that says, who the hell are you? You only got 10 likes. You know, no, what do you know? What are you talking on this topic for? Well, because this topic's flowing through me. Nobody owns the topic.
No.
And if spirit chooses to activate and open your throat chakra, you better use it or you'll lose it. It's just exactly like the athlete. You can have the muscles, but if you don't have the mindset, but if you don't use the muscles, you lose the muscles as well. So spiritual giftings, and I'm going to lump creativity into spiritual giftings because they're one and the same thing, actually. They're your energy that's been God-given to you to make the world a better place. And so that's flowing through you to bring love, peace, joy, creativity, activation, encouragement, all these lovely things, inspiration to another. That's what needs to be flexed, regardless of how many people are engaging or looking. In fact, if you're running really high vibrationally, not many can look yet, because as the light shines brighter, the darkness goes, ah! You know, I see my own shadow in that brightness. So let's, any other comments here? We'll go into the worksheets.
I was just going to say that on that topic with multiple coaches or mentors,
Yeah,
everybody brings something different to the table.
exactly.
So when I'm looking for the woo-woo, I go to Shell.
You're not the first to say that. And you know what? The woo-woo is scientific.
It is.
Can't wait for people to realize that when we're talking about woo-woo, this is quantum physics, which is the law of attraction.
Yeah.
You cannot separate manifestation from woo-woo, actually. You must be running in spirit. Thanks for bringing that up.
No,
yes, and we learn different things from different people according to where we're sitting.
Yeah. And so I started my childhood healing with you, and then moved on with that with Kat. And then I always come back to you to clarify the more spiritual. Not that Kat's not spiritual, but she's very, I'm not quite sure how to say it, but you embody that a lot more. You know, Kat's very she's very calm and you know that, but when I want the enthusiasm and the sort of the spirit, and I need someone to really lift me up, I come to you.
Thank you, Rachel. Actually,
really
let me see if I can move my camera. See my painting there? You can see it just at the top corner.
Oh, yeah, the
I
painting.
painted my spirit child at our retreat, and she captured my colors and essence without knowing me.
Yeah,
it blew my mind.
That
So
gave
her
me
third
good.
eye is very open, right?
Yeah, and she's she's a very spiritual person. That's how she captured you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So that-
amazing. It's amazing. Let's have a look at our worksheets. So you've got those on your email. If you didn't receive them, reach out and I will send them through to you, or they will be posted in the membership if you're interested in joining. It's just $33 for a month. I just want all of these incredible tools to be accessible for everybody. And then if they want to take things further, it's up to them without any pressure. But I've given you a 20-day self-care checklist because we are talking about body, mind, and spirit. And so I want you to just honestly, like, we have to be honest with self. For as long as we hide what's going on in our life, you can't be honest with anyone else unless you're honest with self. So it's simple things on the checklist. I do have breakfast at the top there for those that eat breakfast. I don't, just so you know, but it's there because I recognize that we're all at different positions. But if you can cut down to 2 meals a day, you will be thinking higher vibrationally. Think about the matrix, everything the matrix has taught us to do. 3 meals a day, 8 hours of sleep per evening. Everything's a little bit upside down, back to front. So if you'd like to discuss any of those topics separately, just drop me an inbox and I'm happy to talk about those things. Move every day. I've suggested a 30-minute walk even, or some stretching, or go to the gym. Do something every day. Meditate every day. You can pray, but unless you sit and listen, you're not flexing the muscle. You've got to turn the receivers on. You've got to listen. You've got to activate your sixth sense. You have to utilize and flex your intuition. Read a book. Switch off the phone. Yeah, it activates a different part of our mind. When we're talking about vibrational states, we're talking about brainwave states that we're not familiar with working in. And to hemisync left and right hemisphere, to operate at a higher state of consciousness, this is the goal. You can do this scientifically. Write down 3 things that you're grateful for. Who's got 3 things that they're grateful for today? Good. That should be the first thing you do before you even get out of bed as you're awakening in the morning. If you're tuning in before you jump out, before you listen to a podcast, or before you check your phone, before you interact in daily life, it should start with gratitude, and you'll feel a buzz over you, actually, if you tune in your receivers to this really high vibrational point of gratitude. And then that will keep you going through the day. For every 3 hours we gave gratitude, what you'll find is the gratitude vibration will repel the lower density, and you'll have a good day because you're meditating on having a good day. You've embodied a really high energy. You've become it, and therefore you attract it. Connect with trusted friends and family members. A lot of us like to just debrief with anyone. This is old program. We're feeding the energy. We're lowering our vibratory state if we're engaging in gossip, or the need even to like blur, throwing out into an unsafe container energies that should go to a safe container that won't be spread. Stretching, drink 8 glasses of water, create a relaxing bedtime routine, listen to calming music, declutter, we alluded to that, and that means declutter your handbag, declutter your inbox, declutter anything, gifts given by people that you've outgrown, declutter those gifts. Don't feel guilt about it. You're operating in spirit and you're saying, I love you, but I've got to fly ahead. And so the energy has to be cleared and cleaned, and listen to your intuition on that. Cook healthy food. Get back to cooking from scratch. Anything that's alive is going to add to your energetic field. Anything that's dead or processed is you're going to match that energy, and you're attracted to it because you're holding something that vibrationally is stuck. And treat yourself with things like a bath or a shower, like cleansing, clearing, connecting with the elements again, nature spirits. Set goals. I love keeping people accountable to goal setting. If you want to work on that with me, hit me up for a coaching session, because I will be your biggest applauder when you achieve. There is no jealousy. There's enough space in this universe for all of us to succeed. And that's why groups like this are incredibly empowering. Practice deep breathing, because you're shifting energy. We did that last night at Sound Circle. With a breathe in, fill the lungs, and then top it up, and then noisy release. And so in the top up, you're expanding your lungs to shift grief or anything that's stuck. We're opening up our heart space actually in doing that. Write a journal. So do that every single day. I weave in gratitude. I weave in things that I am imagining. As Rachel said, if you have it in you, she had it in her to birth a magazine. And if it's in you, it has to come out. Because if it doesn't come out, you'll lose that beautiful thing that was seeded into you when you were born. And it's the doubt and the worry and the fear of what others think that sabotage that beautiful dream. So if it's in you, let it out. It doesn't matter. You might influence one person with your social media live. You might reach 10 people with your amazing magazine, but those 10 people might be the world changers. They needed you to be part of the chain reaction. Have you seen when you throw a stone into the pond of still water, still being the symbol of peace, you get the ripple effect. All of us are part of the ripple effect. I don't care how many are in my membership. I've surrendered to the fact that it was in me and it had to be birthed. I had to get over myself in order to activate something that spirit wanted to flow through me. That's so empowering. Listen to podcasts and inspirational talks. If somebody's already doing the do that you've been asked to do, they're your people. They're the ones that you should be listening to. Practice yoga or exercise and compliment yourself. Do mirror work. Connect with your soul. So here's some homework, because I'm a coach that likes to be proactive. I like to show you how to do it. I don't just talk the talk. I'm going to hold your hand and show you how to get feeling empowered. And Kim's joining. Welcome, Kim. We're almost wrapping up, but I will send you the recording. Welcome, lovely. So I've given you in your emails a weekly habit tracker, and I want you to be honest with yourself. What are your good habits and what are your habits that need surrendering? What habits are helping you to feel empowered and what habits are stealing your energy? And you've got a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So jot down your habits, and I want you to check with a tick or a cross. Am I achieving? Are my good habits winning this week over my habits that are holding me back? I'm not going to call them negative, but they're habits that hold you back. So if my goal was, like Rachel's, to create a magazine, distraction or sabotage would have you be too busy for that. Can we hear the monkey chatter going, oh, I'm too busy? That people say to me, how do you do all of that? And I'm like, because I've surrendered the distractions. I'm not watching TV anymore. Things that are stealing my energy or my time. Your time is your energy. I am investing that sacred energy into healthy habits. And so my addictive personality, and hear me on the word addiction, is leaning into positive addictions now. I've swapped out old addictions intentionally for addictions that expand my consciousness, or addictions that align with my soul purpose, as Crystal's been leading us to. And if anyone wants to make contact with Crystal to find how to embody your business, your house isn't just a reflection of who you are vibrating at. We know this stuff, right? That's why we do house clearings. If I have clutter in my house, if I have mess in my house that I can't deal with energetically, it's a reflection of what's happening within me. And so you can't clean the house without fixing self first, because the clutter will land straight back where you tidied it up from, right? But it's the same within our business dealings. Our business is an expanded state of consciousness. Our business is an expanded state. So you see people do extremely well, right? They attract amazing things, and it collapses because it's not built on a foundation that's rock solid. It's not built on a foundation of identity that's aligned with spirit. It's easy to copy business models, right? Have any of you tried that? You may have even had a business mentor that comes in and says, this is how you do it. But what works for one soul may not work for another, because we're all so beautifully unique. And so your third worksheet is a daily planner, where I'm asking you to, and I put today's date on it to kickstart you. But change that if you come into doing this session later. Everything is flexible. Everything is able to be co-created by you and streamlined just for you, because you are your creator. Today's affirmation is what I've started it with, because when we start our day with affirmations, this is very empowering. I start my day with things like this. I choose to operate from my highest timeline, because I recognize that I'm a multi-dimensional being, and the old me would be stuck in the program. The old me would be people-pleasing. The old me would be self-sabotaging, not feeling good enough. The old me would be worried about what other people were thinking about me speaking about spiritual things on my social media. And so the affirmation just sets my vibratory state at my highest self, which is already seated in the heavenlies. I am a light being, I am a soul, and I'm making decisions accordingly. And so then on your daily planner, I want you to list your top 3 priorities for the day. Working with action is the do. We do the do. Okay, we've visualized, we've thought about what we'd like to do, and we have called it in. But unless I do the do, I'm not matching the energies. I may have even embodied it, but if the embodiment's stuck and not stepping into flow state, I am wasting time. I am self-sabotaging because of my self-worth. So action your top 3 priorities for the day, and don't let the day go by without actioning them. Then under those top 3 priorities, you might have a to-do list. Today I've got, normal household chore things to do. I've got to make next week's slides for our mastermind. I have things that I mustn't forget. So they're listed down. I've got my plan for the day. And then map it out with a rough work schedule. And anyone that works in the business sector that's successful will tell you that they operate like this, because time is money. Sometimes when manifestors speak about money, they are not consciously evolved to the point where energy is actually the transaction and my time is energy. And so if I value myself at spirit level, I am deciding who am I giving a lot of my time with reciprocal energy and self-love worth bounce back. So the love's coming back to me, or who's draining me of my energy in my exchange of time. This works into our banking system exchange as well. Am I getting anyone that's working with the knowledge of investing in self? What am I getting back? Is the energy exchange just going to be an addiction or an attachment, therefore a distraction? Or is my monetary investment giving back to me things that are embellishing me, are forever things that are teaching me, things that are educating me, things that are adding to my character? So can you see how those that scrimp in having a coach or somebody to hold them accountable is actually afraid of evolving? They're afraid of becoming what they may even be talking about. And so it's not just about money. Does that make sense? Any comments on that? As we step into New Earth exchange, a lot of us will be working with an exchange barter system as the ancients did. And I want you to hold this concept in a higher, more expanded state, in that you don't get bitter for the swap as long as the swap fits with what your intuition's speaking. But if you're feeling gypped for the swap, then it's time to lay down self-loving boundaries and allow that exchange to be exactly like it would be a transaction with money. We take things back to the shop if they don't fit us, right? So I'd like money to teach you how to operate in an exchange process, thinking like an ancient would. Yeah. Am I valuing my self-worth in the exchange of my energy today? Let me know tomorrow how you go. Let's make a commitment, each of us, to practice that today, to do the do, to feel empowered to say, actually, that's not working for me, and not feel guilty or ashamed for asserting that lovingly, because that's what spirit would do. Just remove the energy. We're wrapping up now. I like to stay on time, and thank you for being here. I'm so grateful. Was there anything that you would like to recap? As I finish every coaching session, those that have worked with me, I'm going to ask a question then. And if everybody that's able to answer the question, please answer me. What is your biggest takeaway from today?
You hit the wrong button. You said a lot, and it was all so beautiful and eloquently said, and I agree with pretty much everything you said. And it's just so beautiful how you word things. It's lovely. I love it. I just wanted to say that.
Thank you, Crystal. I hope all of you are feeling empowered. Is anyone else? Because you know what? You're going to get off this call and you will forget what I've said. But the vibration should linger if you've matched the frequency. If you haven't matched the frequency, I challenge you to replay it 3-4 times and let it sink into your energetic field. This is what an activator does. An activator uses the voice projection, just like Om, and co-creating with words that will sink into your energetic field when you are ready. Helen mentioned this to me last night. She's like, you've been saying things and I've heard them from other people, but they didn't stick yet. And now I'm re-listening to their videos and I can hear what you were saying and because what I've said has hit her as a vibration, because I've hit heart space without judgment, without expectations, with a healthy exchange, with reciprocal energies. I have matched the frequency. Now, sound healing will not work unless the person matches the intention. I can see miracles. I can see tumors disappear if the person runs in an open heart space and faith, just a little spark of faith, and the energies match. This is the beauty of the season that we're living in. Does anyone have a takeaway? Because I want that to be the vibrational full stop that we finish your session with today.
I will have to say, for me, it was the last bit that you said in relation to treating every transaction as you would money. Because throughout my life, that's the one thing that I'm kind of hitting constantly, the money transaction, the money issue. So, I will be looking at it very closely as of today on how I use that.
That's awesome, Carmen. I think you'll find most healers or anyone working in with holistic or spiritual practices seem to have this, and this is where I love that I can bridge the divide between the corporate mind and the spiritual mind, because in fact they all link together. We're all spiritual beings. We've just thought that we weren't. The transactional ability, I was amazing in corporate. I don't ever price myself as the cheapest. I value myself. I command it and they give it to me. They can't wait to hand it over to me. But the transaction and the implications of me putting that knowledge or that wisdom seed into my holistic business has been, I'm not going to lie, really difficult, because I have this martyrdom rescue thing in me where I want to fix and save the world, spiritually speaking, right? And so I think that's where we need to surrender that we cannot save anybody. We can show them the way. We can open the door, and the transaction should be the same. We should value self. And that doesn't mean charging everyone top dollar. It just means valuing yourself enough to know how much time to give to those that aren't actioning the wisdom that you're giving them. If not, it's an energy drain. So yeah, I'm with you on that one, girlfriend. I appreciate your comments. Anyone else like to say what their takeaway is? I know a couple of you came in through the back door, so you can be watching the video and catch up on our conversation initially. I appreciate you being here.
No, I thought it was great, as I was expecting it to be. I'll need to rewatch it, but there was some really gems in there, and I can't think exactly which one is the top one, so I'll be rewatching it a couple of times. Yep.
Thanks, Helen. You know, as I was setting up today, and I need to teach myself how to play music through YouTube with a share. I know it's possible. I have done it before, but this morning I was like, I didn't have the headspace for it. But the song that was in my head, because music moves energy, right? And I may be showing my age with this, is I got the power. And I'm like, we do, because spirit lives within us and we forgot. So don't override your beautiful soul, body, or mindset by settling for anything that isn't loving in your exchanges. I'll give 2 minutes more for any comments, for takeaways, and then hang up, and this will land in your email inbox. And if there isn't anything, I wish you all namaste. I honor the divine that lives within you. And I'm so grateful. I recognize that Spirit had us all meet so that we could co-create. And for me, as for me in my house, I desire to co-create peace. And I'm grateful. I'm so grateful that you could feel empowered. And if I can help you at any capacity, be it any type of exchange, reach out. Lots of love and have a beautifully embellished day. You are the jewel. Bye all. Love you.